It is 8:30. We're going to call the meeting to order. I do believe that all the directors that are able to participate are participating. The first item of business is public comment. Now, I believe that is Mr. Goulart operating the system?
Yes, we also have on the line Chris Mount, who's also taking control this morning.
Okay, great. So if we can just make sure that everyone is, I just want to make sure if there's anyone from the public who would like to participate, if they wanted to speak up, if we can unmute everyone, that's, and even if that takes a minute or two, just to make sure that we're involving everyone. I see someone unmuted at a 401-602 number. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak? Okay, we'll move forward. If somehow someone hops on the line and we didn't find them, we'll allow them to participate. The first order of business is approval of approval of the minutes of our most recent meeting, which is November 4th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Morse, seconded by Commissioner Cruz. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item for action is approval of the legal bill for Panoni, Lopes, Devereaux, and O'Gara. These invoices are dated November and December of 2020. The dollar amount is $40,821.05. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll
So
move.
moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next item is legal bill for Taft and McSally. These are bills for August and November of 2020. The dollar figure is $20,988. Is there a motion to approve?
So
I'll
moved.
move.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item is our monthly ratification for construction and engineering projects. Mr. Seabury, do you want to give us a rundown on this, please?
Yes, absolutely. I'll go bridge by bridge as usual. So I'll start out with the Pell Bridge. We've got some invoices for contract 19-1, which is electrical and communications upgrades and construction service inspection for that project. We've completed the suspended spans biannual inspection. So we've got some invoices for that one. 19-3, which is the deck rehabilitation project. We completed that work except for some punch list work, which is the grinding and sealing in the spring. So we've got a bunch of catch-up invoices on that, some sizable invoices. We finished that at the end of November, or just before Thanksgiving. And then contract 19-4, which is miscellaneous repairs. We're actually taking advantage of the good weather and doing a bunch of pier column repairs. We've been working right along. So we've got some invoices on that one for the construction service inspection, and resident engineering. Jamestown Bridge, we've got invoices for contract 19-4, which is also miscellaneous repairs, where they've actually completed their work for the season, but they were doing repairs to the pre-stressed beams, concrete pre-stressed beams. Mount Hope Bridge, we have completed the work for contract 19-1, which is electrical and communications upgrades. That bridge is complete and it's actually going to be inspected, final inspection of the work on Friday to develop a punch list. 19-13 on Mount Hope Bridge is the contract with Pisecki Steel for steel repairs, painting, and catwalk repairs. So we've got some invoices on that project. That work is not ongoing at this point. It'll pick back up in the spring when the weather is conducive to the paint work. And then Sakonnet Bridge, we have completed the routine inspection of Sakonnet River Bridge and Evans Avenue Bridge. So we're got final invoices on that one. And then we've got under other engineering services, the bridge safety and video analytics project. We've got some invoices for Parsons on that. So that project is ongoing. We expect to complete that within the next couple of months. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Seabury?
I do.
Well, I just
Director
have
Levine.
one. Every time I go into one of these, I look at the miscellaneous, okay? And the miscellaneous tends to be bigger than a lot of the other individual items. So I was wondering if, like, for example, on the Aetna okay, the 19.4 on the Pell Bridge, if you could give a little more detail, because the accountant in me says every time you see miscellaneous, you gotta audit it. So,
Sure.
so that, you know, I understand what it is, but as soon as I've got this whole thing circled, like, what is all this miscellaneous? You know?
Yeah,
Just so that it's a little more clear, you know, that it's
Yeah.
structural work or whatever, just something that gives it a little more substance, okay? Not just miscellaneous work, you know?
It is, and so contract 19.4 is actually both for Jamestown and Pell, which is why it's sizable.
Yeah,
And a lot of the repairs are concrete repairs we did repairs to bridge bearings, to the bearing pads. We did them to the pre-stressed beams, so that it gets involved when you start repairing pre-stressed concrete beams. So we did a bunch of those repairs, and on Newport, for example, a lot of the concrete repairs are being done at the water line on the pier columns. In fact, I have a report in front of me, the daily report from yesterday, and so it involves divers in the water chipping the concrete, and then it's an operation. Then they have to put a column, a shroud around the column. They have to pump grout in from the bottom, displace all the water, and basically they're casting all new concrete around the columns where the water line has eroded.
well, just a statement like concrete repairs or miscellaneous concrete repairs would make me feel like, okay, what is this? You know, that sort of thing.
I think in the future, you'll see a little better description on a project such as this, because it's a bit misleading when you say miscellaneous repairs and, you know, and then you got a 7-figure number next to it.
That's my problem.
Yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
agree.
Completely.
I'd like to follow up on, Judy's question. So the miscellaneous expenses are change orders to contracts?
No, this is actually a contract that was let with that description as
The
that was
unit
the
price?
title. Yeah, that was the title of the contract. It's a unit bid project.
Okay.
So it had specified items.
What might be helpful also, if you're going to begin to provide a little bit more detail, it'd be helpful to know for each of the projects. And you don't have to, if you provide it to us in written form or in report form, whether or not these projects, where these projects are with regard to their budget, their original budget,
Mhm.
and where they are with regard to the schedule that was originally determined for the project. So you don't have to do that now, but at the next meeting, it'd be helpful.
I think, Director, I think that's a great point, and I'm glad that the Vice Chair raised the question and you followed on, Director, because the Executive Director and I were having a discussion that we have this item that's been, I believe, on the agenda as long as I've been on the board for these monthly ratifications. These are bills that have already been paid, these are budget items that have already been authorized by the board. So I wonder if might we go toward what Director Albedy's talking about, more of a status update on projects to know where it is, because we're not really, we're ratifying, that really doesn't mean anything because the money's already gone out or been authorized by the board. So I think the director's point is well taken. Perhaps we move away from this idea of ratification and more look at status updates on projects that the board has authorized. And you know, are we on time? Are we under budget? Are we on budget? That kind of thing. So I think that would be a good thing for the director and the engineering director and finance all to look at it. And that might be a more accurate representation of, you know, what we should be receiving as a board, an update on where projects are.
Very good. I
So-
totally agree. Totally.
Great.
Thank
So do
you.
we have a motion to ratify?
I'll move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second? Any other
Yes.
discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to a bid award to Pitney Bowes. This is for our folding, inserting mail equipment machine. The annual bid, the annual contract is for $4,715. It's a 5-year contract. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to additional work that had to be done over related to the Secana River Bridge on the Hummocks Bridge. The dollar figure is 44,000. It relates to contract 1905, which I believe is with Aetna. Mr. Seabury, if you can just talk about this, this kind of emergency work, please.
Sure. So this, back in August, we were notified that some concrete had spalled off the underside of Hummocks Bridge. It's a concrete frame bridge, so if you drove under it, it's almost like a tunnel. So Aetna Bridge was mobilized under contract 1905, yet another miscellaneous contract that was 1904 and 1905 were both put out as miscellaneous contracts, so to speak. At least this one says concrete repairs. Aetna was directed, because Hummocks is an approach bridge to Secana, it was appropriate to add to this contract since they were mobilized out there. And they were directed to give us a quote on an estimation of removal and repair to the best of their ability. The original estimate of work was about 389,000, which we didn't come anywhere close to spending that. So we worked to keep the cost minimized by providing our own traffic control and protection for Aetna. And we also kept the quantities to a minimum, just doing the repairs that needed immediate attention. I think Aetna overestimated. So the total cost of the repairs came in at about 128,000 roughly, round number. And when we applied it to the contract, it requires an amendment to the contract of 44,000 outside of the budget. So the work has been completed, it's been inspected, and everything's satisfactory out there, and that's what we're looking for.
All right. Do you have a motion to approve? Then we'll have discussion.
Oh,
There's a motion.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
Second.
I know I was supposed to take a tour of all our facilities, but could you explain to me what the Hummock Bridge is? Because that's a bridge I've never heard of before.
Yeah, so it's an access point to Island Park area right before you on the west side of Secana River Bridge off of 24. When you want to get into Island Park, you'll take an exit and it takes you down by a golf course, and then you actually go under Hummocks Bridge. It almost looks like a tunnel. It's a concrete frame bridge, and it's along the approach to Secana River Bridge.
And it's part of our responsibility?
Part of our responsibility. Our responsibility ends just west of Hummocks Bridge and includes the ramps, and it basically ends right at that point.
Oh, something I'm learning after how many years?
You would drive over it and never know unless you went out to Island Park. That's when you would go under it.
That was when
I might take a trip.
when Director Alvidi's predecessors gave us the Jamestown and Secana Bridge. We didn't know we picked up a bunch of bridges that came out with that. So we have a lot of bridges, Judy.
I guess so. I've got to take a tour. As easy as that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? And let's get the vice chair a tour of all our bridges. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to something that's brought up by our executive director, that our board needs to have an executive compensation committee that's comprised of board members. It's going to be 2 members, and I haven't actually asked anybody, but I was going to let's nominate Judy Morse, because she asks a lot of questions, and Darrell Waldron, because he's not here. So I would nominate those 2 individuals to be the Executive Compensation Committee, and this is called for by the Quasi-Public Corporations Accountability and Transparency Act.
Can I just ask a question about this?
Yes.
What does this entail?
Well, you'll find out once you're appointed. This has to.
No, that's a safe call.
Lori, if you want to talk about the actual position that it would relate to.
The Quasi-Public Corporations Accountability and Transparency Act has a particular section 42-155-5, which calls for each quasi-public corporation to have a committee on executive compensation. It's got to be solely board members who constitute this board, and they treat the issue of compensation packages of executive and senior management of the corporation. It also mentions job descriptions. Don't want to scare you off, but we will help, and we've got that under
You're gonna
control.
do a great job, Judy. I know it. I know you're gonna do a great job.
So it's required. We are still right now in the process of having our accountability and transparency audit. And I want to be absolutely certain that we meet, that we pass with flying colors, and this is required by the statute.
I got you. Okay, thanks.
We have a motion to add, to create this committee with directors Morse and Waldron. All those in favor, please say aye.
I have a question. I have a
Director
question,
Alvey.
please. Yes. I wonder if you would see a way to have me sit on this board?
If you'd prefer that, I just thought that since you were ex officio, we'd have the actual, the nominated members, but if you
Yep.
prefer to be on it,
Well, yeah, I think so.
well, what we do is we'll take Director Waldron off and we'll have Director Morse and Director Alvey. So I'll take back my motion and I'll make that motion for Directors Morse and Alvey. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor of these two members serving, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you for your service. The Executive Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll keep it brief. The traffic and revenue data are favorable. I'm pleased to report. I mean, it has served us well to budget conservatively. As you know, when we were looking at our fiscal 21 budget, we wanted to make certain that we were conservative in estimating both toll revenue and motor fuel tax revenue. We did that. And so the traffic and revenue data have been far more favorable than all of our, than as reported by colleagues in all of the other tolling agencies across the country, quite frankly. Interestingly to me, we hit our high, comparing year over year, we hit our high in September, which was 80% of the same date the year before for the month of September. July was also, we clearly bounced back relatively quickly from the low in April when COVID first hit us. We for obvious reasons, because we live in a beautiful area of the state that people want to go to. People could travel in their cars to at least view the beautiful area, if not enjoy the beaches and the parks to the maximum extent. So the traffic looks good. We finished the year, I would say, right around 25, just perhaps a little bit more than 25% under year over year of toll revenue. We budgeted motor fuel tax revenue under the middle number that Stantec had provided us in May. So we're still looking good there. Our expenses are still down. If you looked at the traffic and revenue reports that are part of your package that our CPA, Tony Gubata, and our CFO, Jeff Goulart, have prepared. And we're trying our best, by the way, to tailor those reports so that they're more meaningful for the board. And I hope you'll see that every month, that we're making improvements in those reports. But they clearly say that we're comfortable within budget. So, and in terms of the rest of the financial overview, we haven't met as a board. We didn't meet in December, so I do want to just mention again that now we're 2 for 2 on our ratings for our bond issuances. In December, Fitch affirmed our toll revenue bonds at a rating of A with a stable outlook. The report, it's I think about 11 pages long, very favorable to us, giving the reasons why they've affirmed our bond at that ratings. We're in an industry that's been impacted by COVID, so we could very well, even if, and I think we are a rock star, but despite that, we could have been impacted. We were not. Our ratings were affirmed, so that follows the fact that our toll revenue bonds had been affirmed at the tail end of October at A with a stable outlook. So all of that looks good. As we have promised you, all through fiscal 21, we have watched the budget monthly. The directors of each of the departments have met to make certain that we're within budget. We are within budget. If you have any questions about any of the numbers, please let us know. Sometimes, as you know, this is a seasonal business, so you can't just divide some of the numbers by 12 to get a monthly number because we are seasonal. But in fact, when you take into consideration the seasonality of the operations here, you'll see that in virtually every category we are well under budget, and we're hanging in there. That doesn't mean we didn't lose money. Well, there's no question that we did lose money because of COVID, but budgeting conservatively has served us well.
Very good.
Any questions for the executive director? Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn?
No, I got one request.
Yes.
I'm going back to my bridge issue.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if it would be possible for me to get a list, just a list of all the bridges. I know the four main bridges and then the sub bridges that go with them. So I'm not just blindsided on such things as Hummock and other types of things. I think
Not
it would be a great idea, even if I don't take a tour.
Oh,
And
no.
Director,
Once you get the list, you're expected to report back at the next board meeting that you've been to every one.
Okay, thank you.
Director, there are 10. So
10. Oh,
there are 10 additional.
I
small
know of
bridges.
3, now 4.
Plus 10. Okay. Very good.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Have a great day, everybody.
You as well, Judy. Thank you.
So-
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.